Hello, everybody. Welcome to the pilot episode of Pharus Global. Today, we are lucky enough to have a special episode. We have the only singing a mortgage guy in Port St. Lucie, Florida. And his name is Frank Lillo. We're excited to have him today. My name is Brian Hartman, and we're going live from Pharus Plaza, 1859 Southeast Port St. Lucie Boulevard. Come out and see us. We'd love to pour you a cup of coffee or something. But right now, I'd like to introduce and bring on the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Frank Lillo.
Hey!
Hey!
You make a cup of coffee, the Italians call it coffee-in.
The coffee in.
How you doing, Brian?
Doing great, Frank. Thanks for being with us today. We appreciate it.
Great to be here.
Awesome. One thing I just want to take care of some housekeeping issues. If anybody has any comments, questions, or anything they'd like to share within reason, be nice, everybody. You can place that in the comments, and we will get to answer your questions as they come in. So looking forward to hearing from everybody. So Mr. Lillo.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get involved in this crazy mortgage industry of yours?
Well, it is a crazy story. I spent a lot of years as a consultant in the manufacturing software industry, flying around the country, working with the medium and large companies, implementing complex software systems, and spent a lot of time on planes, and got to be 2001 and all that was going on. And I said to my wife, I said, I think it's time to find a local job. And so I looked at three things: insurance, mortgages, and real estate. I had friends in all those industries, and they gave me the lay of the land, and I selected mortgages. So I started out as a loan officer in a little cubicle in 2001 right here in Port St. Lucie. And did that for many years, and took a little break during the crazy years with the market downturn and so forth, and came back in a few years ago, and had the great fortune of running into you and Chris at Pharus Group and having a conversation, and we'll talk more about that later.
And before we get into anything further, I've got to know, and everybody wants to know, how did the singing mortgage guy come about?
Well, I'll tell you. The short story is I started out when I was young as a drummer, playing in bands, and did that for a few years. I got tired of being behind the drums where nobody could see me. And when I was about 20 or 21, I started singing out front in front of a band. Then we played weddings and parties and clubs and all that kind of stuff. I did that a lot for a while. And when I got to Florida, I didn't do it so much. Things were different here, but still keeping my hands in it. Occasionally and do a little a solo routine, singing with some backing tracks, especially if it's a charity event, a golf tournament, whatever, or just to have some fun. So a few years ago, I wanted to differentiate myself, and I said, how about if I call myself the singing mortgage guy? And believe it or not, there was one other guy somewhere in the Northwest that was using that name, but he wasn't really doing anything. And I had the domain name available, so I went for it. So that's me. And I still do a little singing from time to time. And when all this COVID is over, we're going to have a big grand opening celebration right here on Port St. Lucie Boulevard. And we're going to be singing and dancing and having a grand old time.
And I think if everybody stays to the end of our show, we're going to have a little bit of a sampling, right?
It's quite possible. It's quite possible.
All right. You guys got to stay until the very end of the show.
The tease. You put out the tease.
The tease. All right. As I mentioned, as we get further along in this, please feel free to post any questions that you have for Mr. Lillo in the comments section, and we'll be happy to answer those questions for you. So, Frank, I understand that Pharus Home Mortgage is looking to bring on some loan officers. What's that all about?
Well, that's right, Brian. We started our operation in January of this year, hired on a few loan officers, and started having some fun doing some stuff. And then, of course, the COVID hit and kind of slowed everything down for a while. But about 6, 7, 8 weeks ago, Our residential lenders have come back to life with all their programs for the most part, and we have been getting lots of activity. And so now we need some seasoned loan officers, some people that know what they're doing, because there's not a lot of time for training at the moment, but there will be. And we want to get them in and get them started right away so they can make some money and help us grow.
So they have to be seasoned like Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons?
More or less, so they can have a little salt and pepper, one or the other. But
all right.
if they know how to fill out a good 1003, that's a big start.
Awesome. So a little birdie's been telling me that there's something going on about having multiple revenue streams to offer. What do you mean by what's that all about? What's multiple revenue streams?
Well, that's probably the most exciting ingredient of everything we have to talk about here, because Pharus Home Mortgage could have been a standalone residential mortgage company, and there are many of them around, and many of them are good people and do a great job. But we are lucky enough to be part of Pharus Global, which includes many companies that provide many types of products and services. And I'll tell you why that's important in a moment. You know, those products and services include business management and consulting services, business credit building, retail credit repair services, a full line of insurance products, IT and technical consulting, and commercial funding and business financing, as well as residential and investment mortgages and commercial and residential real estate. So in that environment, when you work in that environment, there's several advantages. From a revenue stream perspective, if you're licensed in real estate and you're licensed as a loan officer, you have the opportunity of taking one transaction, one client, and working both sides of the transaction as both the LO and the real estate agent, if it's not an FHA deal. And or you have the option of referring one of those, so you get a referral commission while you focus on the other side of the transaction, and or you can refer the credit repair services, the business building, credit building services, etc. So depending on the scenario, you could get 2, 3, may I say even 4 or 5 commission or referral checks in one transaction. That's what you call really leveraging the marketing activity.
It's nice having a suite of services like that. And if they have their insurance license, that's another one, right?
That's the ultimate. That's it. Because commercial funding doesn't require any licensing. So if you've got the other 3 that do, and the credit repair, you can really do well. But it's not just about revenue streams. It's also about clients and credibility and relationships. So once you've earned the credibility of a client and they're depending on you to help them with something, real estate transaction, loan, mortgage loan, whatever, you want to try to keep them in the family, as you see on the car commercials, the automobile commercials. But we really do have that family, and you can trust that other person to take care of them and treat them well if it's not you doing it directly.
That's awesome. So it sounds like they could hit a grand slam or more.
Absolutely. It's absolutely possible and practical.
Very cool. Something different, and it's nice having that suite of services under one roof.
Well, it's an amazing thing that we offer the advantages to the employees that I mentioned, but that's also a big advantage to our clients, because if you already took the time to find a mortgage loan officer that you trust, you don't want to have to go through that same effort searching for a realtor that you trust, an insurance person that you trust, credit. You've got them in the family, and there's an overflow of that feeling of that relationship and that credibility.
Awesome. Well, very exciting stuff, Frank. But for the moment, let's just zero in on Pharus Home Mortgage, if you would. Why would a seasoned loan officer leave their current employer to move over to Pharus Home Mortgage?
Well, I'll tell you, that's a great question. And in the mortgage business and the real estate business, it's usually difficult to attract somebody who's already successful at some company, some agency, etc. But what we have to offer is so unique that it helps us a little bit more, because if you're already doing a good job of closing loans, but you don't have the opportunity for the multiple revenue streams and the other things that we talked about, then that can be very attractive. I mean, besides the fact that we have a plethora, if I can use that word, of loan products, all of the conventional, FHA, VA. We've got down payment assistance programs. We've got our Loans for Patriots program, where we actually pay up to $500 up for the appraisal reimbursement for a Patriot, which is law enforcement, first responders, healthcare, EMT, teachers, and healthcare workers, right? They work for us, and we want to pay them back and work for them.
Absolutely.
We've also got reverse mortgages, and for those purchasing transactions for your realtors, we've got a reverse for purchase, which many people are not familiar with, don't even know they exist, where you can actually buy a house using a reverse mortgage. So when you're done, you have no mortgage payment, and you stay in the house and enjoy it for the rest of your life, or however long you want to stay there.
I'm gonna ask you to pause one quick second, just to remind everybody, if you have any questions, put them into the comment section right now. Like this show, so that way more people get to see it. And also, if you share it, or you can actually start a watch party for more people to be able to get all this incredible information. Sorry, continue on, Frank.
No, that's good stuff. We want to get the word out. It's very important. So just wrapping up some of the advantages of being a seasoned loan officer here. We're one of the few brokers around town that'll actually do a mortgage on a manufactured home, and that's big. We're getting calls every day now. Realtors are finding out that we can do them. We're getting calls from all over Florida, so that's great. And last but not least, we have a new product we found. It's not really a new product, but it's new to the residential mortgage world and to us, and it's called the all-in-one loan. And it's the short story is that it's really a bank account and a mortgage account in one. So by virtue of keeping your extra money, whether it's for a week or for 2 months or whatever, in the bank account, it's driving down the principal balance that's calculated interest on. So we have examples, and we have simulators where you can actually plug in your own information and see what it would do for you. But you could have a 30-year mortgage that you could literally pay off in 6 or 7, 8 years. We actually had one client a couple of weeks ago that had was comparing it to a potential 20-year mortgage, but instead with this all-in-one, they'll pay it off in 3.1 years. So it's not smoke and mirrors, it's not magic, it's just math, and it works.
3.1 years for a 20-year mortgage.
Yeah.
Wow.
You got to have a 700 or better credit score, and you've got to have some disposable income. You've got to constantly have money in the bank. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, it won't give you those kind of advantages. But that's okay, because we have loans for everybody. So that's what's great about working in this environment with those products. And then, of course, we take care of good use of technology as needed. We don't do technology for technology's sake, but we've got technology as needed for productivity and customer service. We've got lenders that'll go down to a 580 right now on FICO scores. And when things get back to quote unquote normal, we'll get back down to 500 again where we had been. So we can submit TBD files for pre-approvals actually underwritten by the lender before there's a property address. So somebody who's shopping, they're almost as strong as a cash buyer by having a pre-approval letter from us that says they've already been underwritten. It's phenomenal stuff. And last but not least, Listing Booster is a tool that we offer to our loan officers to be able to offer to their real estate agents. If it's a listing real estate agent, then Listing Booster product will help us promote those listings and generate leads, buyer leads for that agent. And it's very inexpensive, $1 a month for the realtor. We subsidize the rest of the cost. And it does a lot of great things, and it also provides a very high technology listing presentation for that real estate agent to go do a listing presentation and show all the ways that we're promoting, or that he or she is promoting that house, or will promote that house for that seller to get that listing. So lots of great stuff.
Really 4 things that really stick out to me from what you just said. Number 1 is reverse mortgage for purchase. I think that's a huge benefit for a lot of people that are unaware that that's available, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's amazing.
And the second thing that stood out, manufactured home mortgages. Very rare that that's able to be found out there.
Yeah, it is. And by the way, for those loan officers that say, we don't want to be dealing with those small loan amounts, I closed one a couple of weeks ago for $305,000. So they're out there.
I want to give a quick shout out to Hala Shalub. She just said that she's watching us. Thank you for joining our show today. And then the next thing that stood out to me was the all-in-one. Sounds like a hole-in-one, right?
Yep.
Finally, people can actually have a use for the money they're keeping in the bank, right?
Yeah, well, the big difference is a hole-in-one is really hard to get, and all-in-one is really easy to get. So you talk to us, and we'll set you up. So if you've got some disposable income, in this example I was using about the 3.1 years, that couple had about $10,000 a year in income. I mean, a month in income, and so of course they have their payroll direct deposited, goes into their bank account now, and then they pay their bills during the month, and at the end of the month, with a couple of thousand left over, same routine month after month, so their savings balance grows and they pay their bills. But with the all-in-one account, because the banking account and the mortgage are one, the money that stays in there is used to reduce the principal that's calculated against for interest, and so it really drives the principal balance down quickly, because most of the money is going to principal first instead of interest, as in a normally amortized loan. And when you're done paying it off, by the way, you don't have to close it out. You can leave that all-in-one in place and have that money that you already paid off. Maybe it was a $200,000 loan, and in 4 years you paid it off, but you still have that available line of credit. So now you can spend against it, and if you spend some money, then it works the same way. When you put some money back in, it comes down again. So really phenomenal product. It's in use in Europe and overseas all the time on residential mortgages, but fairly new to residential here in the States.
Wow, that could really be a game changer. It sounds like it's easily done without the client even knowing that it's getting done. It's kind of on a sweep basis.
Yeah, it's just a habit, right? Everybody has a habit of depositing their check in their direct deposit in the bank. Don't even think about it. So same story. Instead of going into the savings account, earning 0.5% interest, it goes into this account and saves you thousands and tens of thousands of dollars of interest.
The other thing that you mentioned that I just want to put a special shout out for all the realtors out there. You talked about Listing Booster. You're actually giving realtors the ability to get more exposure for their listings while you're helping some of the potential buyers get pre-qualified for mortgages, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. So we love our realtors, and we want this. We use this tool to help them promote their listings, because most real estate agents have both listings, which is sellers, and buyers, right? So while they're listing, they need help promoting that listing, and we can help to promote it by posting and social media all over the place and various other places with text encoded photos. So when somebody texts in the code to get more information about that property, that person's phone number, the texting number, goes to that real estate agent. So they're getting texts all day long that they can respond to with a boilerplate text comment. Hey, thanks for checking it out, blah, 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 right? But in the meantime, there's only one buyer that can buy that house. So if they have 150 inquiries, that's 149 potential buyers for something else. Wow. So it's a real economy of scale.
That's great. That's definitely unique, something for all those realtors out there to watch out for.
It sure is. It sure is.
Excellent.
And so just continuing why a seasoned loan officer would want to work here, in addition to the culture, the ethics, the environment, the technology, all the loan products. We have a great team culture here and a strong work ethic throughout all the companies, not just in Pharus Home Mortgage. We're also recruiting for realtors into Crestcore. And if you're a residential real estate agent and you want to learn commercial, they have a program for you that doesn't cost you anything. It's phenomenal. There's no availability of training for realtors on commercial without paying for it somewhere, of course. But they can get that. So that means if you're a loan officer now, or you have a team of LOs working together with one or more realtors on a team, and you've been helping each other, you can take those two teams into our environment, not miss a beat, have all the advantages of our ecosystem for both the LOs and the realtors, and off to the races. Start building commercial clients as well on the real estate side, and the loan officers can refer them to our commercial funding department and get a referral from there, or even learn how to do a commercial mortgage and make the whole commission. They won't know how to spend all their money. They'll need an all-in-one mortgage.
That's terrific, Frank. I love it. So So from what I'm hearing, all the realtors, residential realtors out there can stop leaving money on the table. Those same clients that they're working with on residential might uncover commercial opportunities as well. And Crest Corp will teach that and be able to help them get their loans closed through Pharus Home Mortgage at the same time.
Absolutely, absolutely. So here's a quick example I like to use, right? You've got Mary and John Smith. They're in New York. They've worked hard all their lives, built up a little business. They want to get away from the snow and the ice, so they want to move to Florida. They sell their house up there for $500,000, take the cash to Florida. Now they want to buy a business, maybe buy a building to put the business in. So they might need some commercial mortgage and business financing. They need to buy a house to live in, so they need a residential realtor and residential mortgage. They might need a little help with their credit repair and do some business credit building, and they might need insurance for the house and for the business. So if you are the Pharus Global representative, which is what I like to call everybody, then you can earn multiple streams from that transaction. Keep it in-house and keep it controlled so everybody's happy, gets done on time, and they go off and tell all their friends.
Sounds amazing. So at this point, Frank, we only have time for one more question. So talk to us about the future plans of Pharus Home Mortgage. Where are we headed?
Well, I'll tell you what, we love to talk about our future plans at Pharus Global and Pharus Home Mortgage, but it's not pie in the sky. We want to grow aggressively, and we're looking at opening branches in multiple cities and areas within Florida. Tampa will be very soon. Just interviewed somebody today who is a good candidate for maybe even building that office there, but if not, building a team there. We want to be in South Florida and North Florida and ultimately into North Carolina. So if you're somebody who's got the skills and the desire and the energy to build and lead a team or to even run a branch, then come and talk to us, and we'll talk about putting a plan together to get you where you want to be. Very exciting.
Sounds awesome. Very exciting. Exciting times. We appreciate you being on today, Frank. If anybody wants to get in touch with you, loan officers or folks that need a mortgage, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Well, if you look at the little thing on the bottom of the screen here, it's got my name and phone number. Pharus Home Mortgage, Frank at PharusHomeMortgage.com, 772-925-8202. I feel like I'm doing the Jerry Lewis telethon. Call in today with your donation. Yeah, give us a call. Check us out. If you want to learn about our whole ecosystem environment, PharusGlobal.com. It's really exciting. It's a fun place to work. It's a fun place to be, kind of at the ground floor of what's going to be a major multi-state company.
Awesome. That's right. Hala said one-stop shop.
One-stop shop. That's right.
Awesome. Well, Frank, thank you for being on our pilot episode for Pharus Global. Anybody that's a business owner or that would like to appear in an interview going forward, feel free to reach out. We're going to be doing this on a regular, consistent basis. Frank was kind enough to kind of be the first out there, and I think it went pretty well. So thank you for doing that.
Glad to be. It was great.
We look forward to seeing everybody again real soon. We're going to come out with a schedule shortly, so you'll know exactly when to expect us to be live. Might even be live at 5.
Ooh,
how about that? How about that? All right, everybody. Thank you again for joining us. Frank, thanks for being here, and we look forward to seeing everybody real soon.
In the radio business, Brian, in the radio business, they have a term called singing you out. So I'll start singing and you can fade us out. Go to black. You ready?
That's true. We forgot. We got the tease. All right.
It's already September. I'm already playing Christmas music on my Sirius XM. So the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since there's no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. And come and join Pharus Home Mortgage.
All right. Thank you, Frank, the singing mortgage guy.
All right.
Shout out to Ryan, too. I see him out there. Awesome pilot episode. Thank you, Ryan. All right. Thank you very much, everybody, and have a good night. We'll talk to you soon.